Kellerman, and I've been a Jewish studies teacher at the Robert M. Barron Academy in Houston, Texas for 8 years. Several years ago, I decided to flip my 6th and 7th grade Mishnah classes, and today I'd like to give you a brief tour of my online classroom called a learning management system, which will hopefully spark some creativity and ideas for you in how to use the model of the flipped classroom in your own classes. For my class, I used a website called myhaikuclass.com, on which I was able to post everything from my syllabus to videos that I created to assignments that I wanted students to fill out, and even allow students to turn in their assignments on this website. If your students are anything like mine, they're a little disorganized. So one of the advantages is having everything you want your students to know right here on this website, where they can't lose papers. What you're looking at right now is my homepage, on which I invite students to read through the rules and the syllabus of the class. Clear goals and expectations are important in any classroom, but especially in a new type of classroom environment like a flipped classroom, where you want to make sure that all of your students know exactly what you expect of them. Make sure to have that written clearly where everyone can access it at any time. What you see on the left side of your screen is a table of contents of all the units and lessons that students are going to do throughout the year. I made each unit a Mishnah or part of a Mishnah, with 1 or maybe 2 videos per page. Let's take a look at some of them. I start each unit with goals at the top so that students understand what they'll be doing and what they'll be learning in this unit. When the student scrolls down, the first thing they always see is a video. This is the video that they'll watch at home on their own. There are tons of free video making softwares for teachers to use. I use one called Adobe Voice. When students come to class, they've already watched the video and written down some of the main ideas of it. So I know that they already have learned the Mishnah once. The first thing they do when they come in is we have a little discussion, 5 or 10 minutes, just to make sure everyone understands. The students sign into their iPads, and they have assignments to do at their own pace. The assignments allow students to use higher order thinking skills, to use the information that they learned in the Mishnah to create their own things and to work on skills. Assignment 2 is a recorded reading. Assignment 3 is vocabulary. Now you might notice this Google Sheet here, which is where all the students are submitting all of their work. If we scroll back up to the top, you'll see that one of the first tabs is Google Sheets. All of the students have a Google Sheet. I have access to it, and the student has access to it. Let's click on Ahava's. What you'll see is that students have a very organized place where they go to turn in every assignment. This was the unit we were looking at. When Ahava watched the video, she typed in main ideas of the video. I told her in this video to write 4 main ideas. This video, which was a bit shorter, I told her to write 2. And what you'll see is that throughout the year, she has a running tab of main ideas from every Mishnah that she learned. But there are other tabs for other types of assignments. There are vocabulary assignments for every Mishnah we learn. And she has a running tab of the vocabulary throughout the entire year. If we go back to my haiku, I want to show you the assessment that I gave after they completed the first Mishnah that we learned. They had already watched several of the videos that I had made, and one of the advantages of a flipped classroom is that students have the time to create their own things. So I introduced students to the video tool that I used, Adobe Voice, and had them make their own video to explain their understanding of the Mishnah. that was their test. Once you introduce technology into your flipped classroom, the possibilities are really endless because there are hundreds of educational apps that you can use and your students can use. They use voice recorders, they can use Google Sheets and Google Docs. You can even hyperlink assignments to your page. You can have students watch videos on YouTube and then answer questions about them. If you want to flip your classroom, here's some of the things you'll need to be ready to do so. First of all, I was fortunate enough to be in a school supportive of these kinds of initiatives, and we had enough iPads for the students to use while in class. If you don't have that luxury, you might have to think of assignments that don't include technological tools. Then you have to scour the App Store and the Internet for the right tech tools. I settled on Adobe Voice, as I mentioned, to create all of my videos. Then you have to also find other educational tools that can help students do some of the higher order thinking skills that you want to happen. Next, set up a system of rules or netiquette with your classroom so that everyone knows what is acceptable and what is unacceptable behavior when using the internet both in class and at home. Next, you need to find a place on the internet to house your curriculum for your students to keep things organized. As I said, I've used Haiku. Finally, as you would do with any new initiative in class, make sure to devote class time to allow students to understand this new system. It's complicated and there are a lot of moving parts. Give your students some leeway and some time to learn what you expect from them. Thanks for taking the tour of my haiku, and good luck in flipping your own classrooms.